My personal biggest pet peeve with the news cycle is that we hear this like crazy, just groundbreaking, breaking news story that everyone, the whole country can collectively come together and say, hey man, that's wrong. We need to address that. And then a week goes by or 2 weeks and we're like, just twirling our thumbs and we're like waiting for that next story, right? Scrolling our phones, checking thumbnails, seeing who's posted what, when they've posted it. But we also need to remember that, well, we need to still hold on to those emotions that we had around certain topics because that's how we continue social pressure. We can't just let things go and leave it up to the politicians. We try doing that. And if you're watching this channel, chances are you have a little bit of lack of faith or maybe no faith at all in our parliamentary system, in our prime minister, in our politicians in totality. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this very heated argument between Pierre Poilievre. I know the House is out, they're taking a break, but this is a very important topic because Pierre Poilievre is going after Marco Mendicino, who is at the center of a pretty big controversy, if you don't remember, with Paul Bernardo having this email sitting in his inbox or something along those lines saying, hey, we're de-ranking Paul Bernardo, one of Canada's worst murderers, from a high security prison to a medium security prison. And well, during this exchange, I'll just get to the point here, during this exchange, Marco Mendicino actually threatens Pierre Poilievre, and Pierre's just a Chad. He just, for those who don't know, it's basically like me. I'm a Chad, like this ideal male figure, super manly alpha dude that can just take all these. I'm just kidding. I'm a teddy bear. Who am I kidding? But Pierre just takes these threats on the chin and, well, fights back. So before we get into it, I encourage you to give a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Really helps grow the channel. We are past 300,000 subscribers, which 90% of are Canadians. So I mean, where's the next milestone? 400,000, 500,000, 1 million? We're on our way. Here we go. Let's take a look at this video.
Of Canadian women have to relive the traumatization of hearing Paul Bernardo's name. They all remember his horrific and monstrous crimes. That they learned that this government decided to free this monster from maximum security prison and allow him to go to medium security, where he'd be able to interact with other people, have visitors, and enjoy other liberties. Now, this minister claimed this was all a big surprise to him. However, we learned today that his office knew in early March and was informed again in May. In other words,
he knew.
No, and what he said was false. Will he resign?
The Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, nothing could be further from the truth. As I said earlier, I was informed on May 30th, the day after Paul Bernardo was physically transferred to a medium security institution. And at that time, I took immediate action expressing the concerns of the families of Leslie Mahaffey and Kristen French to the Commissioner. There is an internal review process. I have also made it clear to my staff that this should have been briefed immediately. Corrective steps have been taken. I have dealt with it, and we will now always defend the rights of victims.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, now he's...
If only we could believe that.
His office admits that they found out on March the 2nd, 3 months before the minister claimed to be shocked by the news. If his staff had really kept a secret from him of this enormity, he would have fired them a long time ago. But he hasn't, because he knows, and they know, that he knew way back then. So the only honorable thing that is left for him to do is resign.
I love it. Pierre just breaks it down to such a simplistic level that, okay, buddy, you're caught. You got your hand stuck in the cookie jar. We know someone's accountable, and you are the head of the people that need to be held accountable. So you must bear the responsibility. It's pretty simple, but liberals try and overcomplicate it.
The Honourable Minister of Public Safety.
Mr. Speaker, I invite the Leader of the Conservative Party to repeat that allegation outside of the House.
Whoa!
Reject it. I knew on May 30th.
Okay, First of all, since we're on the topic, not in this video, but culturally, of all these fights happening, if you're not aware, there's actually a serious inquiry into Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook, Meta, Instagram, and now Threads, fighting Elon Musk, who's like 45 to 50 pounds heavier and significantly taller than Mark Zuckerberg in an actual cage match. The owner, the CEO of UFC, Dana White, has actually said that, yeah, this is legit, and we're trying to organize it to happen in Vegas. If Pierre were to fight Marco Mendicino, Marco's this tall, Pierre is this tall. Marco probably weighs like 180 pounds at most. Like, he seems like a kind of a dense dude, but I don't think he seems very big. Pierre's pretty big. I mean, when you look at photos of his like shirt up there, I mean, it's not like big and jacked like me. I'm kidding. He's probably actually more jacked, and he's pretty tall. I think he's like 6'2" or something. I don't think it would end well for Marco. So you can make all the threats you want, little tiny boy, but it's not going to work against Pierre Poilievre.
Order. I'm going to ask the members to take a deep breath. I know some of the topics we discuss in here are very emotional and we get carried away, but I'm going to ask everyone to take a deep breath.
Emotional damage.
The honorable member of the
throwback
position can hear the answer.
It's like a tick.
Please continue. You have 22 seconds.
Mr. Speaker, it is the leader of the Conservative Party of Canada who misleads this House when he impugns my knowledge before May 30th. I have made it absolutely clear that that was the day on which I found out. I have taken corrective steps internally with my office, an office for which I am responsible for, to this Parliament, to the Canadian public, which is why immediately upon knowing that fact, that he was transferred to a medium security institution, I raised it with the Commissioner. I've spoken with the representatives of the families of Leslie Mahaffey and Kristen French, and we will always defend.
Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Well, first of all, I have stated all of these things outside of the House of Commons, so whatever threat he's trying to make, he can act on. But more important than that, he did not act. His office knew the second. He expects us to believe that his staff just forgot to walk down the hall and inform him that perhaps the most notorious killer in Canadian history was being moved out of a maximum security penitentiary to enjoy more luxuries and more freedoms in a medium security penitentiary. Finally, he has the power now to designate mass murderers all to go into maximum security prisons. He could have done that weeks ago. Why hasn't he done it, and why hasn't he resigned?
Excellent question.
Mr. Speaker, the leader of the Conservative Party of Canada lays out a prescription for political interference which foreshadows what Canadians would get with a Conservative government. On this side of the House, Mr. Speaker, we recognize the independence of those decisions, and when I became aware of the fact that Bernardo had been transferred to a medium security institution, I raised it with the Commissioner. I raised the concern.
I'm going to have to interrupt again. I mean, it's getting way out of hand. I just want everyone to take a deep breath.
I crave chaos.
The Honourable Minister, you have 20 seconds.
Say you're sorry. The questions that are posed by the leader of the Conservative Party of Canada, Canadians know they will get a prescription for political interference. On this side of the House, we're doing it the right way. Today, I will be issuing
debatable
instructions to the Correctional Services of Canada to make sure that they put victims' rights at the center of decisions to transfer, that they inform victims' families before those transfers take place, and we will always stand up for their rights.
I don't think there's anybody in Canada who can, with a straight face, argue that victims have rights, like very good rights in Canada. That's why there's such a hard press against our bail reform system. Is you have people that are committing crimes, like could be theft under or over, whatever it is, different punishments. One is criminal, I believe, one isn't. You can have domestic abusers, you can have sexual assaults, and these people, they get arrested, they get thrown in jail, they get fingerprinted, possibly they maybe get held there for like a day to a week, and then they get released. And that's the issue with Canada, is like our government is putting victims in positions where they're going to be victims again and again and again. It's horrible. A domestic abuser should never be reintegrated into the area in which he was abusing domestically. Like, that's just kind of sadistic. But that's our Canadian government. So then just deny, and keep causing the same pain to Canadians. Yeah, it's gross.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, it is the legitimate power of a public safety minister to issue directives about classes of prisoners. The former public safety minister, Ralph Goodale, did that about prisoners suspected of having contraband. That's right. That is normal. That is a power that the minister has today. He could classify all mass murderers as requiring maximum security detention. That is a decision he could make now. It is a decision he could have made on March the 2nd when his office became aware that this monster was being transferred out of maximum security prison. Yeah. Given that he has not done that, and because he has misled this House, will the Prime Minister fire him?
Yeah.
It's a pretty reasonable solution. And if we put the shoe on the other foot, how would Trudeau be attacking Pierre Poilievre? Well, he'd be saying the exact same thing. You should fire your person. You should fire your person. So it's not an unreasonable thing to suggest.
Mr. Speaker, perhaps the leader of the Conservative Party of Canada did not hear my last answer. We will be issuing new directions to the Correctional Service of Canada to ensure that they put victims' rights at the center of these decisions.
Okay, who cares what he has to say? It's just a bunch of BS anyways. They never actually did put him back into a high security prison, from what I'm aware. And I'm like the Canadian news guy. I'm plugged in all the time. Even when I'm not plugged in, I'm still somehow plugged in. So it's kind of greasy that they keep saying they're going to do these things, and then the news cycle continues. 7 days go by. We all hit refresh on our brain, and we forget because, ooh, a shiny new thing, or Chinese spy balloons, or Hunter Biden, or Trudeau did this, or this happened in the world, and we seem to forget what we've talked about. And the reality is that they never follow up again with these things. He is still in a medium security prison. Liberals haven't done anything to solve it, because there's no more pressure. They just don't care. So here we are making videos about it, trying to keep the conversation going. Speaking of conversation, I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments. Do you think that Paul Bernardo should be in a high security prison, or do you think he should be in a medium security prison? And in addition, do you think Marco should be fired or not fired? Love to know what you guys think down below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Or if you're watching this on Facebook, hit that follow button. I believe that's what Facebook is. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much for making it to the end of the video. If you want to support the channel financially, you can do so by checking out the merch shop linked right up there. Or if you want to do something for free, which is also absolutely acceptable and highly encouraged, you can subscribe right there. If you want to continue watching videos like this, you can do so by clicking or tapping right there to watch the next upcoming video. And if you want to watch a little bit of different content, but also Canadian stuff, you can do so by clicking right up there. That's my second channel, House of Canada, also known as the House of Commons Highlights. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.